GM I coached recently said, Chris, I show up early, I train my team, I clean up messes, I enforce standards, and some days it feels like I'm just laying bricks in the dark. No feedback, no thanks, just work. That's exactly when most leaders quit, but not you, because you understand and you play the long game. Right now, I'm leaving Istanbul. You can see the Aegean Sea behind me. And all day, I was surrounded by scaffolding, empires, and legacies. Because you don't build the Hagia Sophia in a day, and you don't build a championship team in one Saturday sales rally. Fast leaders win the day, but legacy leaders, they win the decades. I'm Chris Hunsicker, and this is the Dealership War Room from somewhere out in the Aegean Sea. Leadership fire, built daily, fueled intentionally, and delivered relentlessly. And today, we're going to dive into one of my absolute favorite frameworks to show you how to absolutely build legacy and execution, not just for a day or a week, but for the long term in your business. How you can build your personal empire. So many of us, when we think of endurance, we think of like white knuckling it and holding on. But in Stoic philosophy, endurance isn't passive at all. It's the active expression of courage stretched across time. Isn't that a beautiful way of looking at it? And in positive psychology, hope isn't a feeling, it's a belief that your efforts compound over time, even when it's invisible. Here's the problem most managers face. If I don't see results in a week, I must be doing something wrong. That's not leadership, that's dopamine addiction. Let me share with you a far more elegant, useful, and effective model. Since we're in Istanbul, let's call this the Empire Framework. How can you build your own empire, brick by brick, building by building, day by day, and decade by decade? There are 4 elements to the Empire Framework. Number 1 is vision. What are you building? And I'm not just talking about this month's gross. I mean, what type of culture do you want? What level of ownership, trust, and momentum do you want absolutely locked in 12 months from now? Number 2 is ritual. What are you doing daily to move the vision forward? Huddles, feedback, mindset, recognition, role play. These are bricks that build your foundation day by day. I love this quote from John Maxwell, the leadership expert. He said, "You'll never change anything in your life." Let that sink in. You will never, that's 100%, change anything in your life until you change something you do every day. The secret of your success is found in your daily routine. So if you find yourself struggling with a goal, struggling to close the gap in this one area where it's been weeks, months, years, and you just can't get it, I promise you, you need to change something that you're doing every day. Look at it. What is one thing I could start doing and one thing I could stop doing? A daily behavior. And you start doing that and you will close the gap on your goal. Number 3 is resistance. Where are you tempted to quit? When things get hard, when do you give up? This is where the framework gets real. Do you get pushed to quit when it's repetitive and you're doing the same stuff over and over again? Is it when your team starts giving you pushback? Is it when no one claps or recognizes what you're doing? Because I got to tell you, resistance is a leading indicator of a great goal. Every great goal meets resistance. When you see resistance, when you feel the resistance, that's when I want you to celebrate and dive in. Discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishments, and that bridge must be crossed every single day. Number 4 is recommit. What do you say to yourself when it gets hard? This is true of anything worthwhile. A great marriage, a great team, a great business requires constant recommitting. I literally have a reminder on my phone that every morning I go through in my journaling that says, recommit to your 50th wedding anniversary with Sherry. And I've been reading that for decades now because I made a decision early on when we got married that I was not going to get divorced. And I wanted to make sure that Sherry and I got a chance to celebrate our 50th wedding anniversary. And so every morning I literally say to myself, recommit to the 50th wedding anniversary. What do you do to recommit? What's your mantra? And I would share with you, if you don't have something that you say to yourself that gets you to recommit, it's time to do it. Ekras Eshron, who is one of the brilliant spiritual teachers of India, talks about this, that elephants are mined, he says, are like elephant trunks, and they just swing and get into all kinds of trouble. And for years, they were used as pack animals in India. And then when we go through a village, if they didn't have something to focus their mind, they would swing their trunks and break everything all around them. So they started giving them a bamboo stick to focus their mind. And that is literally what mantra is. It is like a bamboo stick for the trunk of an elephant to focus your mind, and now all of a sudden you become powerful, clear, and directed instead of distracted and wrecking everything around you. want you to think about that. When you get distracted, do you ever start wrecking everything around you? You need a way to recommit. You need a mantra. You need a way to come back and say, this is what I'm going to say to myself to recommit to what I want and where I'm going to go. I know a dealer whose favorite mantra is, I'm not building for Friday, I'm building forever. You got to find yours. Write it down, memorize it, and use it every day as often as you need to. The best teams I've ever coached, they didn't explode overnight. They compounded behavior over time. One sales huddle at a time, one service audit at a time, one performance check-in at a time. You don't need a breakthrough. What you need is the faith of a bricklayer. Grab a sticky note, write this down. Brick by brick, ritual by ritual, I build what lasts. And then ask yourself with deep sincerity, real intensity, where am I skipping steps? Because I'm just tired of the grind. Where do you need to take a long game ritual and reinstall it? And where do you need to take your vision and recommit to it? Because I want you to say this out loud. I build cathedrals, not kiosks. That's who you are. That's what we do in the war room. Your name may not be on the sign yet, but every standard you enforce, every rep you push through, that's your legacy forming. Because the long game is the only game. So let's go create some leadership fire today, and I will see you tomorrow in the Leadership War Room.